don't expect you to throw names or throw anybody on the bus because I know you want to get hired again. But what what are some of the most difficult times that you've had jumping in for somebody?
Um, I still have nightmares about this show. It was my first show with a band, and we were playing in London. It was sold out like 3,000 people or 3,500, and sound check was great. Everything was fine. Everything worked great. We played a couple songs, and it was cool. And then I came back later. My brother was living there at the time, so I went to dinner with him. And I came back later, and everyone was hammered.
Uh,
And it was the band's first show in 7 or 8 years. And we get on stage, and guitar cables are not working. My monitor's not working. And we train wrecked like 3 or 4 songs. And it was just uncomfortable. The drummer that recorded the album was behind me. And,
uh,
we were playing with like other bands that are big influences to me. And it was super embarrassing, but also kind of humbling. Not
mhm.
not every show is going to be perfect, not every tour is going to be perfect, but after that the rest of the shows were great, and it was just kind of like, okay, it was, first show in this many years, and jitters and, nervousness and all that, so maybe a couple too many shots before a show or whatever.
Right. You get that feeling. So were you sober at that then?
I was, yeah.
Yeah, tough being the man and the sitting there
Yeah,
watching the train wreck happen.
yeah, because I was only 25 at the time, I think,
Mhm.
and biggest band I'd played for at the time, biggest tour I'd done at the time, and very first show. So I was kind of, very much in my head about it, but
Mhm.
wanted to be as straight and narrow as possible to be
Right.
able to play the songs. Because that was another band where there's no clicks, no pre-recorded guitars or anything.
Right. You get that feeling in your chest that you got to fight through where you're just like, fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like you start playing the song and someone stops playing or I get lost or whatever.
Right.
So that one was definitely a really tough show.
Right.
But after that, it all worked out. And there was one person at that show that we saw at the airport, and he was like, "Oh, I saw your show tonight. I'm so sorry." he was he was like, "Oh, I'm coming to the show tomorrow too." I was like, "Cool. I'll find you after the show, and I promise it won't be the same thing." And I did. We played that next show, and I went and found him in the crowd afterwards, and he was like, "Yeah, you're right. It was much better tonight." So,
Right. Right.
at least I we were able to redeem ourselves for one person.